Alright, I want to go ahead and take a video of what I just did. I got in a trade at the moment. I entered the trade about 10 minutes ago at 9:06, and when I entered the trade, I entered the trade right about here. Um, when I entered this trade, the trade had a little bit more of a wick on it. And the reason I entered this trade was just based on this consolidation area where it just kind of kicked off, I guess, from this area. This area, it looked like it would hold as support. It held there, came down a little bit more, went up from there, and it's coming back down to that potential area right there again. So this area looked like support when I entered the trade. And I mean, they're still there. These Keltner channels are still showing upward movement. Upward movement. This right here is barely on the oversold side. This over here, oversold on the 15 minutes. On the 30-minute side, I've still got oversold. These Keltner channels are showing down. On the 1 hour side, I've got oversold and I've got oversold. That is a pretty strong bar right there, I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't in love with that. And then the 4 hour chart is also on the oversold side. So oversold and oversold. But again, this right here has been proving to be some sort of important area. So I don't know if you can see this very well, but starting from right about there, I've got this zone. I've got one touch here, I've got one touch here, I've got one touch here. Then over here, most recently got touch, and now we're touching it again. I mean, we'll see if this area holds. It already broke it. It went down to 2198 and it's at 2201. I've still got 5 hours, 5.5 hours on my side. I got it at $61. And I also created this deviation chart. I'm just going to see whether or not this thing will hold or not. This deviation chart, stuff that I was just looking at and figured out possibly how to create deviation levels, which could also go pretty nicely with these support and resistance areas. Deviation level is right here at 1.2239. So deviation level is 1. So this has a 70% chance of reversing back in and falling into this area. It'd be really nice if it did. That means that this area right here would definitely hold as a support without a doubt. Definitely hold as a support if it went back into there. So since it has gone back out even further from 2239 down to 220203, I mean, that might be an additional half deviation. So there's a 70% chance, maybe 75% chance that this thing will hold, and then reverse back inside of this area. So the odds are in my favor. I risk $61 on something that has about a 75% chance of holding. Yeah, I mean, we'll just see. This right here, got a UJ deviation level right about here. Went down, came outside of that proposed level. It held it for a second, came back up, which is what I thought would have been my buy entry, because once that goes back up and then potentially holds there. But anyway, I'm not in this trade. But anyway, if this held here again, I probably would have, looked at that as a potential entry, because I want to see something that just kind of holds in this area. But as you can see, it has gone back into that deviation level. Let me see what else I can show you here since I've got this open. So this one here is looking Very, very nice, very, very smooth. Down out of that deviation level, came back in, went down again, came back in, consolidated for a second, went up, came back down, and then it's going back up again. So this right here would have been a nice entry to possibly have gone in on somewhere around like this level right about here. Um, I think so. I think that would have been a nice level to have gone in on. It looks pretty nice. Let's see, what else do we have that I can show you for another deviation level? Nope, not hit anything yet. GJ's looking super ugly. GJ has gone down. That's a deviation level right there, but it's gone down to this support area down there. Looking pretty ugly. EU. Hit the support area right here at 0994 resistance area, and this happened at about 5:30 this morning. Deviation level was set at 1002. All right. EJ model. Potentially, nope, actually it's not showing me any sort of price action yet, but that's my deviation level right there. And Australian dollar. Australian dollar is holding inside of its deviation level. Hold it around a, I guess a point of influence right there. All right, just want to go ahead and let you all know that this is what happened. The market itself, when I decided to pull the trigger, was around this time frame. I went in at about 8:06, and I will admit that I did pull the trigger just a little bit too soon. When I went in there, I believe the market was still hovering around this area, I want to say. I should have taken a video recording of me actually pulling the trigger on this, but I will admit that I did go in there too early. I did like the zone just because of what it had done previously right there. Came down to that area, bounced off of it, and decided to retrace back up. So I also, in combination with that area, felt like this right here could be a deviation level. Because again, I had made a deviation level, what I think might be deviation levels for this chart. So I went ahead and I pulled the trigger, decided to jump in on it. Looking back on it in hindsight, I probably should have waited just a little bit longer to see extra confirmation. I don't know, I made a mistake. I went in a little bit too early, but the resistance level itself held. So it held up. I thought that was a good confirmation sign. And then once it broke down, I did get a little bit worried. Came down here to the strike price of 1.22. And then it started to reverse back into the area where I wanted this resistance support. Where I wanted the support to actually hold. And it did bounce back off of that and shot up there just a little bit. And I went ahead and I took profit. I took profit at $8. So risked $60, made $8, give or take about 10% return on the investment. I had the thing held ready to expire at 3 o'clock, but I didn't want to hold it until 3 o'clock. A lot of stuff could happen between now and then. And yeah, I mean, I probably even could have set something up for like 10 o'clock so that it could expire and maybe even get a little bit more profit. But I needed time on my side. I wanted time on my side, and that's just really what I wanted. Well, I don't know if I did anything else wrong. I think I was reading the price action okay towards the second half. It's just here I pulled the trigger just a little bit too early, and I don't know why I pulled that trigger there. Other than it was probably holding at this level within that minute. But if I just waited, I probably could have waited here, seen this confirmation, I probably would have entered realistically here. And that would have been better. But then the best one would have been waiting down here just to see that price action break back up there again. So, yeah, those are my 2 cents. I didn't like the way I entered, but the exit itself was solid. I exited right about here, and yeah, got the green and I banked it. Got the green and I banked it. Oh, and my deviation levels over here. I'm doing deviation levels on the futures chart also. Right now at the moment, I'm messing around with 2 deviation levels. One that I found, and then the other one that I found. 2 of them that I found. NKML deviation level, and then a deviation level based on just stocks in general. As of right now, I don't like the price action of this for sure. I don't like the price action of this. Because again, I wanted to do something around the area of... Sorry, got the wrong chart up. Here we go. I wanted to do something basically here, here, here. I mean, this is what it's doing right now. But what I would have liked for it to do is, let's say right here where it comes down, here, double touch it up, and then that's where probably I would have liked to have entered, is somewhere around there or there. That's what I'd like to have entered, but again, what it's doing right now is basically just going these positions right here. Price action is not holding up very well, so I'm definitely not looking to enter this one. Just playing around with it. I don't know which one's going to hold up better, to be honest with you. I got deviation 1 level, I got deviation 1.5 level, and then I've got deviation 2 level. But I also have NKML deviation level, which is using implied volatility, which I think is a nice thing, because my deviation level does not include implied volatility, so I think it's pretty interesting. But yeah, we'll see what happens. And then that's where I used implied volatility on these levels over here. These levels are including implied volatility that I got on investing.com. But that's what I got so far. Okay, well, I will keep you all updated just in case, maybe a little bit later on another video, depending on what it is that I did or how these levels held up. But as of right now, deviation level in combination with the resistance or support area, I think is going to be my best bet. So we'll just kind of go from there. All right. Thank y'all.